Welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes. It is your host, Bree Carroll, bringing you another heart to heart, and I think this episode is actually going to be a lot of fun. But if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a podcast that is all about strengthening military marriages, and I'm really excited to be here. It is my privilege, really. I love to share this time sharing some things that I've learned, implemented in my marriage, things that I encourage other people to do, other couples, other women, service women, spouses, and people in my community that, will just listen, right? I encourage them to put a spark and keep the spark in their relationship because I believe that our marriages should thrive. I believe that we should thrive not just in our marriages, but in our life and also in our legacy. So here at Hearts and Stripes, that's what we're here to do. We're going to get right down into it because I am the military marriage coach. So you get a little bit of coaching on this podcast too. Still all about strengthening military marriages. So let's dive in. I have a little bit of a fun topic today, and it's all about connections being the key. So, connection is key is the topic that we will be talking about, and I will be giving you 5 ways to connect with your spouse. Now, I'm going to do this in a bit of a different way. I actually came up with this concept trying to think through the different love languages that maybe you and your spouse share. So these 5 are all tied to one of the 5 love languages. And if you're not familiar with the 5 love languages, guys, go ahead, Google that. You are definitely wanting to learn your 5 love languages. I was so excited that we had Dr. Chapman on a previous episode. He is the author of the 5 love languages, and I will run them down really quickly just in case you are unsure of what they are. They are words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and receiving gifts. Those are the 5 love languages. Typically, people have one or a few of these. And the idea behind it is that you're trying to determine, taking the time to be intentional about speaking your spouse's love languages, because how you may receive or interpret love is different than how they may be receiving or interpreting love. So I'm excited about connection is key and these 5 fun ways that you can better connect with your spouse. Are you ready? Here we go. Lock in. It's not going to be just your average 5 love language suggestions. This is going to be something that'll be a little fun and hopefully, like I said, add a little spice to the relationship. So the very first one is relive a memory. So this one I am actually tying to words of affirmation and reliving a memory. The way I would encourage anyone to do this is think of a memory that you absolutely adore from your spouse. Something from maybe your past, could be a recent activity, but just a time when you stood back and thought about your spouse, like, man, they were just awesome in this way, or oh, they were really sexy when they did this thing. Something that you can speak words of affirmation as you recount or relive this memory. So I want you to take a second, really quickly, think about maybe what that could be. Okay, you got it in your mind. You have an idea. Write that down. Relive that memory with your spouse. And remember, the whole point of this exercise is for you to connect. Connection is key for any of these activities. So don't pick a story that's like only funny to you and your spouse is going to side eye you when you're telling this story. But for this piece, for it to be something that you both connect on, you really want it to be a memory that you're reliving, that you're able to affirm something in your spouse, something positive in your spouse, something that you loved or something that you think fondly on, and they would think fondly on as well. So let's go to the second one, which is surprises everywhere. So, for those who may not know, I think I've shared in a previous episode, but my absolute favorite love language, I think it maybe has changed a little bit over time, but one of my favorite love languages is receiving gifts. And I identify that in myself just because I put a lot of value on like giving gifts to other people. When I get the opportunity to give gifts, I try to be really thoughtful, or typically it's not something that's like cheap. I like to put value in the gift that is being given, or even like, okay, so shameless side note, I don't really like baby showers. Um I know, judge me if you want, but I do not like baby showers. And every time I am invited to a baby shower and I really love the person, typically my gift is like a mom specific gift. Like it is for her. It's not baby clothes. It's not, bottles and binkies. And no, it is like a nice, fluffy robe or something for her, a really cute outfit that will still have her feeling cute, even though, our bodies do different things after we have babies. So it's something that is intentional for that mom to be. Anyway, off on a tangent, but all that to say, gifts is my favorite, or one of my favorite love languages. So surprises everywhere simply means you and your spouse, or you can just do it on your own and just surprise them, right? Surprises everywhere simply means you can take either a sticky note and put little notes everywhere. Maybe drop a picture of you that your spouse really loves. It could be even something that's like just for their eyes, and put it in like a pocket somewhere where they will find it. Leave a little special treat. Maybe they have a favorite dessert or something, and leave that out for them or get that for them. But it's the concept is really, really simple. You want to leave surprises everywhere so that throughout the week or whatever time period that you want to assign to this, they can just continue to be on like this scavenger hunt, trying to find all of the gifts that you have left for them. And again, this is something that you can both participate in. You can both be on separate scavenger hunts together, looking for the different clues and gifts and things that you are sharing with one another during that set time. So, surprises everywhere. It's definitely something I highly encourage that you do. And the way that you connect in this activity is you feel loved. I mean, it is a love language for a reason. Receiving something, having someone think about you and go that extra mile to hide it somewhere that you would find it, or get something that's really specific to something that you love and enjoy. It's just a level of thoughtfulness that goes into that, that I think you and your spouse can truly appreciate. Now, the third one is peel me a grape. I don't know about you or what your music preference is. I mean, I don't know. You listen to heart tracks too, right? So, Peel Me a Grape was a jazz song that I absolutely loved hearing as a child. And I loved this idea of like, this woman is asking to be pampered and asking for acts of service. That's what it's tied to when it comes to the love language. But it's really like a whole you got to check out the lyrics for Peel Me a Grape, but it's just she goes through this whole list of things that she wants the person to do. And peeling a grape, just the thought process of something so small, peeling the skin off of a grape and feeding it to someone, is truly an act of service. And I actually peeled a couple of grapes in my time because I wanted to know what that experience was for myself. I don't think I'm gonna ask my spouse to necessarily peel the grape, but the concept that I'm getting at here is maybe you take time to like feed one another, right? Get intimate, get close, feeding one another or providing some type of act of service. You could even cook the meal or something that maybe one of your favorite meals, something that is meaningful in your relationship. I'm saying it doesn't have to be fancy, guys. Y'all can feed each other PB&J or a filet, whatever works for you. um that act of service is really what I want you to focus on and how you connect with your spouse. There's other ways to do acts of service, but peel me a grape. We're going to integrate food into this because I'm a foodie and I think you'd enjoy it too. I mean, y'all have to eat sometimes, so why not make it a way for you to connect? The fourth way that I am suggesting that you connect is being hands on. We're calling this one hands on because it's all about physical touch. So, what I want to challenge you guys to do in this way to connect is to be hands on, literally, what it says. Hold hands maybe while you're watching a movie, or maybe it's touching them with like your foot to their foot, or in some way throughout the time period that you guys set, ensure that you are touching, your bodies are touching in some way, shape, or form for that period of time. Y'all can make that as exciting as you want. You're welcome. But the idea here is that physical touch is a way to show love. And it doesn't have to be sexually. That closeness is intimacy, and it is really important in our marriages that we do have an element of physical touch. So, get hands on. That is number four. And we are wrapping things up with number five. So, number five is one that I actually love. And hint, hint, it has a lot to do with our hard track too. It is called Put Your Phone Down. I don't know how many times I have had to say that in my own household, but putting your phone down is just like a whole thing. So, typically, what happens when we are coming home from a busy day, we will have our technology and we're catching up on all the things that has happened on social media. People are kind of giving updates and still having dialogue from what happened in the day, or you just kind of scroll through your phone to kind of decompress and wind down. Put the phone down. This is time for what? Quality time. The idea of put your phone down is not to be distracted with tech and really put the phone down and do something where you are connecting together. That could be playing cards together if that's something that you want to do, doing a puzzle together, something that is quality time where you both are engaged, looking into each other's eyes as opposed to looking into a screen, and just spending quality time. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with technology. And when I was actually thinking through this one, the example I almost gave was my husband and I like to work together on like those word games that are actually, it's actually a game on your phone. But the point of this is to put down technology and not always use that as the means of what's bringing you together. I know some couples like to do video games together. That is awesome. Virtual reality is a whole thing, right? So technically that's not your phone, but the idea is to kind of go old school with it. If it was just you guys together in a blackout and there was no electricity, what activities would you do? What fun could you make just the two of you having quality time? And that is a great way to try to connect. Act like you're having a blackout. I mean, you could go all the way in and light candles if you want to. Um, but that is another way to connect. So, to wrap it up, let me go back and give you all five of these suggestions, five recommendations on how you can connect. The first one is relive a memory. The second one is surprises everywhere. The third one, peel me a grape. The fourth one, being hands on. And the fifth one, put your phone down. So I hope that these five suggestions will help you connect. And let me summarize it this way. Connection is key for your relationship to be stronger. You know, here at Hearts and Stripes, we're all about strengthening military marriages. So I want to see you guys thriving in your marriage, in your life, and as you build your legacy. The only way that you can do that is through connection, being intentional about connecting with one another. And I think that is something that I highlight in my care method when I'm talking about engage and trust. There has to be some type of action that is taken for you to strengthen your relationship. If you leave it idle, if you don't take the time or schedule time to be intentional about strengthening your marriage, guess what, guys? It is going to fizzle. And I don't want you fizzling. No, no, you're not going to fizzle. I want you guys to have that spark, to have that spice, to look at each other and instantly start smirking or smiling because there's just something inside of you that just lights up and you really do just love one another. And I'm talking about this from a perspective of whether you guys are separated or whether you guys are together. I know a lot of these are when you guys are in the same geographical locations, but by all means, let's think outside the box. If you go back to that Dr. Chapman interview that we did, he gave some creative ways to implement the five love languages during a deployment. I would highly recommend you look into five love languages. For the military version, which also breaks down some options of how you can demonstrate and act out those five love languages for times of deployment and throughout this military lifestyle. So I hope that was encouraging for you. And that is all that I have on connection is key. So now, my favorite parts of this episode and most episodes, of course, is heart tracks. I mentioned it earlier. I'm mentioning it again. Heart tracks 2. You can find our playlist of all the songs from our episodes on Heart Tracks 2 on Spotify. Simply search it. It'll be linked in the show notes so that you can listen and jam to the songs that are tied to these episodes. So go ahead and enjoy that. But today's heart track, you know what? I guess I'm gonna just give you double for your trouble. Why not? Peel me a grape. We're gonna throw that on there as an honorable mention for heart tracks, just because I brought it up earlier. So why not? But the true heart track for this episode is brought to you by Erica Badu, and it's called Phone Down. And I really like this song. It's a song that I've actually sang to my husband jokingly, of course, a couple of times when I have been trying to get his attention. And the lyrics are very simple. It just says, I can make you put your phone down. Use your imagination, guys. Make them put their phone down. So I hope you enjoyed that. Phone Down by Erica Badu is the heart track for this episode and an honorable mention for Peel Me a Grape. You're welcome. So that's all I have for you. Thank you for joining me on this heart to heart. I will say this episode is brought to you by the Identity Program. If you are interested in building confidence and building on that first area that I talked about, self, your relationship with self, building your courage, your confidence, and doing some introspection because you may be going through something of an identity crisis, you're unsure of yourself, maybe you've been hit with a PCS and a lot of different things going on. Identity might be for you. So if you are interested, I would encourage you hop on the waiting list. We will be launching the identity program very soon and you are going to want to be the first to know because the community hears first. That's just how it goes. So hop on the waiting list for identity. It is a 4-week coaching program with myself, walking you through the care method as it relates to you, just you, wonderful you, and the mindset that you will need to walk confidently into your next level. So I am excited for you to join me in identity. And thank you so, so much for joining me on this heart to heart right here on Hearts and Stripes podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.